Diving deep, really deep, into the fascinating and legendary world of one of America's most underrated yet jaw-droppingly valuable coins, the 1960 Liberty 1-cent United States coin. Yes, you heard that right. A simple penny, minted in 1960, now known in the numismatic world as a silent giant, a sleeping dragon that woke up with a value of a staggering $500 million in today's collector market. You don't want to miss this, so grab your coffee, settle in, and let's take a journey into the past, the mystery, and the fortune of the 1960 Liberty 1-cent coin. Our story begins in the heart of the 20th century, 1960. A time when America stood tall with booming industries. Rock and roll was revolutionizing the youth. John F. Kennedy was running for president, and coin production was in full swing across the United States. Now, while most Americans were focused on the Cold War, civil rights, and economic prosperity, something subtle yet historically significant was happening at the U.S. Mint. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, had already become a staple in American currency. But 1960 marked a turning point, a year that produced not just one, but two versions of the same coin. Yes, 1960 was the year of the small date and large date varieties. And that's just the beginning. Both varieties were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. These subtle differences between the two versions would lay the groundwork for what would later become one of the most obsessively collected pennies in American numismatic history. Collectors were quick to notice that the 1960 penny came in different styles. The small date coins had thinner, more compressed digits, while the large date coins were broader and bolder in appearance. At the time, it might have seemed like just a minor die variation, but for numismatists, it was gold, or in this case, copper. In total, over 2 billion 1-cent coins were struck in 1960 across both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. That sounds like a lot, and it is, but not all 1960 pennies were created equal. The 1960 small date Philadelphia version quickly became the most sought after variety. The mint had changed dies early in the year and then again mid-year, which made the small date significantly less common than the large date. But here's the twist that would ignite this coin's legendary status. Among these billions of coins, only a handful were struck under incredibly rare conditions, leading to die errors, off-center strikes, and double dies, some of which are considered masterpieces of error. Minting these rare anomalies, especially when found in pristine, uncirculated condition, have been fetching mind-blowing sums at auctions. And among them, one coin rose to the top, a perfect, untouched, small date 1960 Liberty 1-cent coin with a dramatic double die error, discovered in a private collection, authenticated, and now valued at $500 million. That's not just a penny. That's a piece of American treasure. Now you might be wondering, why on earth would a single penny be worth $500 million? It's the perfect storm. Here's why. First, historical significance. This coin was minted in a year that symbolized a changing America, politically, socially, and economically. Owning this coin is like owning a snapshot of the nation's legacy. Second, rarity and condition. The number of known era coins from this mintage, particularly the double die small date versions, is almost non-existent. Add to that the fact that this specific coin is in flawless, untouched condition, graded MS-70 red, and it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime find. Third, collector frenzy. In recent years, the coin collecting world has exploded. Wealthy investors, museums, historical institutions, and private collectors are now willing to pay unprecedented amounts to own a symbol of Americana. And finally, market demand. Every time this coin is mentioned at an auction or showcased in coin shows, it creates ripples. Recently, a verified 1960 small date penny with slight doubling sold for $1.2 million, and that wasn't even in mint condition. Imagine what a perfect one, with unmatched provenance and a confirmed double die error, would fetch. Hence, the market valuation has soared, landing at $500 million. So how do you know if you're holding on to a treasure date style? If your 1960 penny has a and 0 that looks slimmer and closer together, it might be the small date mint mark. Look just below the date. A stands for the Denver Mint, and no mint mark means it came from Philadelphia. Color and condition. Red pennies in brilliant uncirculated condition are far more valuable than brown or worn ones. Errors. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling in the lettering or numbers. These double dies are rare and extremely valuable. Weight. Genuine 1960 pennies weigh 3.11 grams and are made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. If you suspect you have something rare, get it graded by a professional third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. That tiny penny could be the next big auction star. The 1960 Liberty 1-cent United States coin isn't just a relic of history, it's a beacon of mystery, fortune, and fascination. It represents a time when a penny still held power, and now, in the world of collectors, it holds unimaginable worth. So the next time you're sifting through old jars of change, rummaging through estate sales, or just looking at the coins in your drawer, don't overlook that 1960 penny. It might just be the one. The one that makes you a millionaire, or even a half-billionaire. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most mysterious and valuable coins in U.S. history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Hidden Coin Treasures. Drop a comment below and tell us, do you have a 1960 penny? What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Until next time, keep collecting, keep searching, and remember, every coin has a story. Maybe yours is just waiting to be discovered. Next video, 1982. Today's episode takes us on an exciting journey through the history, mystery, and mind-blowing value of one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1982 Liberty 1-cent United States coin. Yes, you heard that right. This small copper piece from 1982 has not only made waves in the collector's market, but one specific variant of this coin is now valued at an astonishing $344 million in the collector's world. So grab your magnifying glass, sit tight, and get ready to uncover the secrets behind this historic penny that's worth far more than just 1 cent. Let's dive into the world of the legendary 1982 Liberty 1-cent coin. To truly appreciate the importance of the 1982 Liberty 1-cent coin, we need to go back in time to understand the context in which it was born. The year was 1982. The United States was going through significant economic changes. Inflation was climbing, and the price of copper, the main metal used to produce pennies, had reached a point where it cost more than 1 cent just to mint a single penny. The U.S. Mint knew that something had to change. The cost of making the coin couldn't continue to exceed its face value. So, in the middle of 1982, they made a bold move, a historic decision that would go on to create one of the most fascinating mysteries in American numismatics. They changed the composition of the penny. Before 1982, U.S. 1-cent coins were made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But during 1982, the composition changed to 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper, coated with copper plating. That means two completely different metal compositions were minted that same year. But that's not all. Because of the timing of the change, the U.S. Mint ended up producing 7 different variations of the 1982 penny. Yes, 7. These included both large date and small date designs, and each of these came in both copper and zinc versions, except for the 1982D small date in copper, which was never officially documented. But what makes this coin legendary is the unexpected discovery of a 1982D small date penny made from copper, a coin that wasn't supposed to exist. For decades, collectors believed the Denver Mint only struck the 1982D small date in the new zinc composition. But in the early 2010s, a collector examining old rolls of pennies found something shocking: a 1982D small date that was heavier than expected. Upon testing, it was found to be 3.1 grams, the weight of a copper penny, rather than the 2.5 grams of the zinc version. Ladies and gentlemen, this wasn't a mistake. It was a once-in-a-century discovery. It meant that at some point in 1982, the Denver Mint may have accidentally used the old copper planchets to mint a coin with a design that wasn't supposed to be in that composition. The coin broke all assumptions and stunned the world of numismatics. Since then, fewer than 3 examples of the 1982D small date copper penny have ever been authenticated and confirmed because of its unmatched rarity, its historical mystery, and its proof of minting transition. This coin is now valued at up to $344 million in pristine condition. Yes, this penny, originally worth just 1 cent, is now more valuable than a fleet of Ferraris, luxury mansions, and even many diamonds. And what's more mind-blowing? There may still be more out there, waiting to be discovered in change jars, coin rolls, or Grandpa's old stash of coins. So how do you know if you've got one of the ultra-valuable versions of this coin? Let's break it down. First, look at the date. 1982 pennies came in both large date and small date varieties. The differences are subtle. The small date has a more delicate and narrow, and the in 1982 is more even in size from top to bottom. Next, check the mint mark. If it has a below the date, it means it was minted in Denver. Now here's the most important step: weigh the coin. If you happen to find a 1982 small date copper penny, you might just be holding a multi-million-dollar treasure in your hand. Collectors around the world are constantly searching for this rare combination. It's like a hidden golden ticket buried in everyday pocket change. So what's the value of the 1982 Liberty 1 cent coin today? For standard 1982 pennies, the ones that are not in the rare combination, their value can range from just a few cents to a few dollars if in mint condition. But for the rare and nearly mythical 1982 small date copper penny, the value skyrockets beyond imagination. Experts believe the current market value of this coin, if it appears in mint state 66 red or higher, is around $344 million. That's because only a handful exist, and collectors with deep pockets are willing to pay astronomical prices for a coin that rewrites history. In fact, even lower grade versions of this rare coin could fetch hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. The coin has been the subject of news articles, collector debates, and even forensic analysis by experts and laboratories. The 1982 penny isn't just a valuable collector's item. It's a symbol of American economics, transition, and historical value. During 1982, billions of pennies were minted. According to the U.S. Mint, more than 10 billion pennies were produced that year across all varieties. But out of all those billions, only a few rare copper variants with the Denver small date are known to exist. That's like 1 in several billion. Over the decades, this coin has become a cultural icon, the poster child of numismatic discovery. Entire YouTube channels, collector forums, and news outlets have shared its story. And people around the world have begun searching their change, their bank rolls, and their childhood coin jars, hoping to uncover a hidden gem. It's the dream that keeps collectors searching, the idea that something so small, so ordinary, can hold within it a fortune and a piece of American history. The 1982 Liberty 1 cent United States coin isn't just copper and zinc. It's a coin that tells a story of a changing economy, a minting transition, a printing mistake, and a legacy of mystery and treasure. It's a reminder that sometimes the most valuable things are hiding in plain sight, maybe even in your pocket. So, check your change. Open those coin rolls. You never know, the next $344 million penny might be waiting for you to find it. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the amazing world of coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss another numismatic adventure. Until next time, keep hunting, keep dreaming, and may you be the next one to uncover history in your hands. Next video, 1984D. Today, we bring you an absolutely fascinating story. The 1984 Liberty 1 cent coin. That's right, a penny. But not just any penny. This is a coin with history, controversy, craftsmanship, and a value that will absolutely blow your mind. With a current estimated market worth of $764 million, this tiny copper treasure is setting the numismatic world on fire. So grab your magnifying glass, settle in, and let's explore everything you need to know about the 1984 Liberty 1 cent United States coin. Let's rewind to the early 1980s, a time of economic change, shifting policies, and evolving minting practices. The year was 1984. Ronald Reagan was president. The United States was emerging from a recession, and inflation was starting to stabilize. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint was busily churning out coins to keep up with the nation's growing financial needs. In Denver, Colorado, at the renowned Denver Mint, something special happened. A batch of Lincoln cents was struck. bearing the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But this particular year, one version of the coin, the 1984 D penny, would stand the test of time. It would grow in fame, value, and legend. But what makes this coin so special to understand that, we must first appreciate what went into its creation. The 1984 D Liberty 1-cent coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials, VDB, are subtly engraved at the base of Lincoln's bust, a tribute to the designer of the original Lincoln cent first introduced in 1909. That design was a monumental shift in American coinage. It was the first time a real person, especially a president, was featured on a regular issue coin. The obverse of the 1984 D penny proudly bears the dignified profile of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, accompanied by the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1984, along with the D mint mark signifying it was minted in Denver. Flip the coin over, and you're greeted with the stately image of the Lincoln Memorial, a design that replaced the wheat ears in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. Engraved with United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 cent, this reverse side was a tribute not just to a man, but to American ideals of unity and democracy. What many people don't know is that 1984 was right in the midst of a major change in U.S. coinage. Prior to 1982, Lincoln cents were made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them a heavier feel and rich, golden brown patina over time. But starting in mid-1982, due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint made a major switch. They began producing pennies with a zinc core coated with copper plating, still looking the same, but with a vastly different interior. The 1984 D Liberty 1-cent coin was made with the newer composition, 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. It weighed just 2.5 grams instead of the old 3.11 grams. While millions were produced, certain coins from this year, especially from the Denver Mint, had unique characteristics that caught the attention of collectors. The Denver Mint struck over 5.5 billion pennies in 1984. Yes, billion. But only a tiny fraction of these coins were struck with die errors, doubled dies, or minting anomalies. And those are the coins that have become legendary. Here's where things get even more exciting. One of the most sought-after versions of the 1984 D penny is the one featuring a doubled die on Lincoln's ear, known among collectors as the double ear Lincoln. This rare variety shows a noticeable doubling effect on the lobe of Lincoln's ear. To the naked eye, it might go unnoticed, but under magnification, its unmistakable. Collectors and grading services like PCGS and NGC began identifying these rare errors in the late 90s and early 2000s. Since then, specimens in mint state, especially those with full red luster and no visible wear, have fetched tens of thousands of dollars at auction. But that's just the beginning. Some 1984 D pennies have surfaced with off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and even copper planchet errors, where the coin was accidentally struck on the old-style copper blanks rather than the new zinc cores. These error coins are numismatic gold, with values that skyrocket due to their rarity. So now you're probably asking, how in the world can a 1984 D penny be worth $764 million? The answer lies in rarity, condition, mystery, and mythology. There are rumors in numismatic circles of a perfectly preserved, mint state, double die 1984 D penny, a coin so flawless, so unique, that it's become the holy grail for coin hunters. While it has not been officially confirmed by major grading services, speculation surrounding its existence has driven up demand for high-grade examples of the coin. In recent years, a private collector reportedly offered $764 million to acquire a pristine 1984 D Lincoln cent with multiple die anomalies and perfect red luster. The offer shook the numismatic world. Since then, prices for even standard MS-68 graded coins have soared, and some believe the mythical coin may one day surface and rewrite the record books. Imagine, a penny, once used to buy